Alright, we are back with episode 6 of Imperialism. Today, we're going to see some major teams taking over the map, as you can see. New Mexico here. You got UTEP. You have South Alabama that's getting very big. You have North Dakota State took over some land in the last episode. Let's get right into episode 6. So going to the wheel first. Who are we going to see? St. Joseph's does not have any land. So we'll go to Middle Tennessee going southwest. It's going to put them up against the behemoth, South Alabama, and South Alabama manages to get another W. They take out the Blue Raiders. Back up to the wheel we go. South Alabama now has a huge chunk of land. Southeastern Louisiana up next, going southwest. That's going to put them against LSU, and LSU is going to defeat the Lions. By the way, that is the last time we'll see South Alabama in this episode. Somehow, nobody attacked them again. UTEP up next, going south. Excuse me, they're not going southwest. They are actually going to go southeast, and they're going to take on, it looks like it's just barely going to graze the border of Texas Tech. 72-62. The UTEP Miners actually are going to beat Texas Tech. As you can see, they've only won 9 times out of 36 simulations, and the Red Raiders are now off the map. UTEP starting to get very big, and a large chunk of Texas is controlled by orange teams. Mount St. Mary's up next. They're going west, up against West Virginia. That'll be a recurring theme in this video. Spoiler alert. West Virginia does win 73-59. The Mountaineers now control a huge chunk of land, and they have almost surrounded Penn State. Little Rock up next, going west. That means they will have to take on Central Arkansas on a bit of weird bordering, if that's a word. But Little Rock gets the victory. Central Arkansas goes down, and Little Rock takes all of their land. California Baptist does not have any land, so Notre Dame is up next going north. They can do that. It's against Western Michigan. And Western Michigan, one of the worst Division I teams, is going to pull the upset over the Fighting Irish, taking the whole southern border of that Great Lakes. Stetson now going south. That'll put them against South Florida, and they win. Stetson's run of dominance continues. They beat the Bulls, and now they control all of Central Florida. Howard next, going southwest. That's going to put them against West Virginia. They're playing for the second time in this episode, and West Virginia wins again for the first time in the second time in 2.5 minutes they play. California State University Northridge does not have land. So Seton Hall going northwest against NJIT. They win 77-49. The Highlanders are now off the map. Seton Hall, a lot of red in that region. They putting their blue up there. Delaware State going south. They're going to take on Hampton, who has a big chunk of land, and they destroy Hampton 88-52. They now have a very big piece of land across 2 states, I believe. LSU going southeast. We've already seen them. This time they're going to have to take on Louisiana, and Louisiana is going to win by 13. They knock out another SEC team. Milwaukee up next, going northwest. It's going to put them against Marquette, who has quite a bit of land, and Marquette barely squeaks his victory out 82-80. So that is the end of the line for the Panthers. Going to the wheel again. Campbell has already taken a bunch of land, but it's been in earlier episodes. They're going east, but they can't do that, so we're just going to have to spin the wheel again for them. They're going southwest this time. That's going to put them against the South Carolina Gamecocks, where they actually win by 2. So another SEC team goes down. Those teams starting to dwindle, and Campbell now controls a huge chunk of the eastern coast. And now we have Western Illinois going north. Iowa is going to beat them, though, pretty easily. So the Leathernecks are now gone. Iowa starting to stretch their borders, and they control parts of Missouri and Illinois now. Akron, they cannot go, or they actually can go north against Toledo. Toledo's already taken some land, but Akron takes it back, 82-72. The Zips are going to take this victory. Wake Forest up now, going southeast against High Point, who they destroy by 21 points. A pretty easy game for the Demon Deacons, who eliminate High Point. Back to the wheel. South Dakota is going to go southeast to take on Kansas State. Kansas State wins by 18, and they're getting pretty large. Probably one of the teams I'm rooting for now that UNA and Alabama are both gone, but that's going to do it for South Dakota State. Not the last action we will see in this region, though. Ryder up next, going west. That's going to take them barely against Villanova. They're trying to expand into Philadelphia, but it's not going to happen as Villanova takes the victory. And they've eliminated a lot of smaller schools to give them a pretty big chunk of land for that region. Grambling going southwest now against Louisiana Monroe, has gotten a couple victories already. Grambling is going to take this one, though, by 4, 70-66, and that will do it for Monroe. Liberty now going west. That's going to put them against West Virginia. The third time we've seen them play this episode, and West Virginia wins again. I thought that Liberty might could pull this one off, but it was not meant to be. And West Virginia eliminates their third team of the episode. Duke now going northeast. They've already eliminated North Carolina. Now they've got a pretty easy matchup against Delaware State. They win handily, taking out the Hornets to expand far up the eastern coast. And now Duke could be attacked from a lot of angles, but you can't get attacked on some parts of that border. Binghamton going west. They're going to take on West Virginia. West Virginia gets their fourth victory of the episode, taking out the Bearcats. Now they've stretched into New York. They have parts of, I believe, definitely over 5 states. A huge chunk of land for them. And as you can see, they stretch from the south all the way up to the northeast. West Virginia does. Arkansas now going west. Another SEC team going as Texas A&M Commerce. They are going to win this one, so the SEC retains a team. Texas A&M Commerce has already taken over Oral Roberts, but Arkansas, since they own Oral Roberts like they did in the tournament a couple years ago, they're going to win. Wisconsin going northeast against Marquette, who's already beaten Milwaukee in this episode. Wisconsin actually pulls a pretty shocking upset, beating the Golden Eagles, and they're going to take land. They're going to have almost their entire home state. North Dakota State now going southwest. That's going to put them up against Wyoming. 69-66, though. They do get the victory, and now North Dakota State probably controls the biggest piece of land in the entire United States. Northwestern now going west. That's going to put them up against Illinois, and they're going to take this victory, 68-60, knocking out the Fighting Illini. Syracuse now going south against Colgate, and Colgate is going to beat Syracuse to expand into another part of their home state of New York. Colgate with a nice victory there. Providence now going south. They can't really go south, though, so they're going to have to spin this one again, and it's going to go northwest. That's going to put them up against the UConn Huskies, the national champion, and they are going to be no match for UConn, as UConn takes the victory. Now going back to the wheel, we have UTEP again going south. This is going to put them against Hawaii, and Hawaii is actually going to win this one, 96-64 in a rout. UTEP goes down, and shockingly, the Miners are now out. Arkansas Pine Bluff up next going southwest. They'll say Grambling has already taken land in this episode, but Grambling wins 76-58, taking all of Pine Bluff's land, and that'll be it for the Lions. Back to the wheel again to see where we will go. Kansas State going northwest. That's going to be against Northern Colorado. Bit of a tough call there. 83-77, though they win. Northern Colorado goes down. And there goes Northern Colorado. I think I actually messed up on this part of the clip, but it's okay. We'll spin the wheel again. This time it's going to land on... Who's it going to be? It is Wisconsin, who they're going northeast, but they can't really do that, so we're just going to have to spin again. They already have a huge chunk of land, trying not to lose it. They're going southeast now against Northwestern, who's also taking land in this episode. Who will come out on top? It is Northwestern. Now, Northwestern has a huge piece of land stretching across all of Wisconsin and almost every part of Michigan. FGCU now going at Stetson. Stetson continues their run, and they beat FGCU. And there go the Eagles. Now, Stetson has had a very impressive run in this video. Also, I hope my audio is not behind. I had a bit of an issue. So let me know in the comments. North Dakota State now going south against South Dakota State, the big rivalry, and South Dakota State comes out on top 76-54. The Bison lose their huge chunk of land. Now South Dakota State has the biggest piece of land in the United States, with a huge part of the entire North. Maine up next, going west against Vermont, who's had multiple victories. They will get the win, 81-75, in a massive victory for Maine, taking out the Catamounts, who are usually a perennial NCAA tournament team. Seton Hall up next, going east. They're going to play Fordham, and they beat Fordham, who's had a few victories in this series. Seton Hall now starting to expand. Indiana State going southwest against SIU Edwardsville, and they are going to get the win by 9 points. SIU Edwardsville is eliminated, and Indiana State takes more land. Denver now going northeast. That's going to put them against Kansas State. Kansas State is going to expand, though. They win by 18, as that'll be the end of the line for Denver. And now we have Western Carolina going southwest. They're going to take on Kennesaw State, tournament team, and Kennesaw State wins 66-57. The ASUN team prevails and at taking out Western Carolina. Back up to the wheel, Oklahoma Southeast. They're still not going to take Oklahoma State on. They're going to face Arkansas. They're going to beat Arkansas. Another SEC team goes down, and Oklahoma really starting to expand. They have quite a bit of land now across 3 states. Montana up next, going south. They're going to have to face South Dakota State, the huge landmass. We've already seen this piece of land get taken multiple times, and Montana, in maybe the lowest scoring game I've ever seen in a simulation, is going to beat South Dakota State by 6. Wow, that was a low-scoring game. South Dakota State surrenders all their land, and now Montana has the biggest piece of land in the country. Oregon Northeast. That's going to be against Boise State, and Oregon wins 84-78. The Pac-12 team expands, and that'll be the end of the line for the Broncos. Oregon now has a very good piece of the Western Coast. More what I've seen in this episode, a lot of the coastlines are being captured. There's fewer teams in the coastlines. American now going southwest, and guess who that's against? West Virginia. Trying to take out their 5th team in the episode, and they do just that, as American is eliminated. Now, Georgia is going to head north to take on Clemson in a rivalry game of sorts. Clemson, well, more football, but Clemson is going to get this victory. Back to the wheel, Oregon again. They just took a big piece of land. They can't go west, so we're just going to have to spin this again, and they're going to head east in the opposite direction. That's going to pit them against Idaho State, who we have not seen play yet. Can they get this victory? No, they can't. Oregon wins 68-58. Idaho State is eliminated. Oregon now stretching its way inland. They're bordering Montana now. They could potentially take a big piece of land if they can get that direction. Missouri now headed to the Midwest. They're going southeast. That's going to put them against Indiana State, and they demolish Indiana State, scoring 109 points and ending the Sycamores' run. And Missouri starting to expand as well. Old Dominion now is the last team in the episode. They're going west to face Duke, who has quite a bit of land, and Duke is going to win once again. So that is the end of the line for Old Dominion. So this is how the map looks after episode 6. Montana with the biggest piece of land. Northwestern is getting pretty large. Kansas State as well. New Mexico, obviously. Also Oregon. And we see Hawaii with also a big piece of land. Oklahoma has expanded. South Alabama as well. And also Maine up north. West Virginia obviously has a huge piece of land. Campbell and Mercer did not do anything in this episode, but Stetson has been very good. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in episode 7.